Welcome back to another episode of Set Apart Podcast. I am Derry.
I'm Drew.
And welcome back, you guys. We just acknowledge all the support and all the love you've been showing us lately. And we just want to say thank you guys for tuning in once again to another episode. Our consistent listeners, thank you. Everyone who supported, who's been clicking on our YouTube, thank you so much. Shout out everyone who's been supportive of me and Andrew both. So we appreciate you and we thank you. And Andrew, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, before we get to that, actually, if anybody notices that watches our channel, this is our first podcast episode back on camera. So if you haven't seen our other videos before, check out our channel. That was when we were known as a Couple Sips Podcast, and we did the on-camera action. So just make sure to check those episodes out as well. But today's episode, we are going to be talking about a life update. So one, we have Dariana, who recently just did a play, and two, it's going to be kind of a surprise, so we're going to leave that one up at the end. But Dari, first off, tell us how the play experience was. Like what led up to it? Why did you do it? And is being in a play something that you've always wanted to do?
Of course, acting has always been a passion of mine. I believe that it's been a calling of mine ever since I was little. Since I was a little girl, I always wanted to pursue it. And I think that with any passion comes doubt, comes challenges. And so taking a break for quite a while, actually, for a good maybe 5-6 years before I got back into it. And that was just by the grace of God, being able to be used by God to just inspire others to keep going. Because at one point in my life, I did not want to do acting. I was like, I hate it. I'm done with it. I'm never, ever doing it again. And obviously, I'm back on stage 5 years later.
There we go.
And so, if you guys know, if you're a consistent listener, I currently just decided to jump back into it, and my sister actually sent me a audition for a theater play called Pipeline through Acts on Stage, a Black-owned theater production company who was doing this play about the school to prison pipeline. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, this is my first audition back, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it.
Yep.
And I was auditioning for the role of Jasmine. And so I kind of initially knew that Jasmine was going to be somebody's love interest. Just a little bit, just based off of who they wanted to play the role and the age range. And I also looked at other characters, and Omari, who is another character within the play, was also the same age range. So I was like, I know what they're doing here.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, I got the audition and I've been in the play. And so we had about maybe 8 shows. And out of those 8, all 4 of our last shows have been sold out. And so that was just a blessing. And just being up there on stage and putting on a show and cultivating a story for people is what I truly enjoy and what I truly loved. And so I'm just blessed to even get back into acting, and I'm not going to stop.
Yeah. So how was the whole rehearsal process like? Because I already kind of know the background of it, but for our viewers, how was it trying to get into the character of Jasmine? Who is Jasmine? And without spoiling the whole play, of course, but who is Jasmine in a nutshell? And then how different was she from your actual personality?
Yeah, no. Those who missed out on the play, you missed out, but it's okay. So far, just trying to develop Jasmine as a character, it was really hard for me. In rehearsal, I wanted her to sound different from me. I wanted her to even have different looks and different facial expressions. And I know we're talking about a character in myself, but honestly, Jasmine is someone else. She's not Derry. She's not who I am, even though I am playing her. Yeah. And so obviously in this type of settings, she was someone who was very outspoken. Jasmine is very bold, and she can be a little let's just say in your face. She's not going to hide what she's feeling. And so one of the hardest things I felt like trying to really cultivate her and build her up to be who she was going to be on stage was her background.
Yeah.
You know, trying to develop a story of Jasmine, and she was way different than me. Jasmine went to a private school. She was really head over heels for, you know, this guy.
I think you have a similar background with that.
Nah. See, Jasmine, I was playing a teenager, and at that point, I wasn't really that type of girl where I was like, oh, I'm so head over heels.
No. You know, maybe not in high school, but you know, maybe recently you've been acting like that.
Okay. It's like, no, babe, I love you. But yeah, no, it was a challenge because at some points she was also clueless.
Yeah.
And that's not me. I'm very observant. I'm intellectual, and I like to know exactly what's going on. And there's times in the plays where Jasmine didn't know what was going on. And, you know, in all honesty, you know, she was very different from what I've ever played before. And because of that challenge, that showed me that I'm very versatile in what I can do and the type of acting that I can portray.
Yeah.
I can be sad, I can be mad, I can be funny. And Jasmine literally from beginning to end showed exactly every single emotion that I can think of.
And she swears a lot.
Oh yeah, Jasmine swears a whole bunch. And if you don't know me personally, I don't swear. No, I don't cuss.
Not at all.
No.
And it's almost like when I was watching it, my sister kind of also noticed this, was Jasmine's also kind of like a comedy relief character.
Yeah.
Where like the whole play is of course about a serious you know, experience with the prison pipeline, but it's almost like Jasmine was that character. Although, you know, you didn't have the most scenes in the play, you still had an impact on kind of mellowing the crowd down from all the seriousness, because, you know, at the end of the day, we are trying to learn about the school to prison pipeline, but having a little bit of romance and kind of like a romantic comedy aspect to it was pretty cool.
You know what? That's the most consecutive statements I've heard concerning Jasmine as a character. She's that, you know, comedic relief. And honestly, I'm so glad I was able to be funny. Yeah, I'm so glad I was able to give people laughter. I
mean, I feel like you had the most laughs out of anybody in the play. I mean, like I said, there's not really a lot of opportunities to have that, but I felt like you had definitely the most reactions when it came to how you were acting and portraying Jasmine's character.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you, babe. I appreciate that so much. I
wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.
Right. Thank you. And thank you for that too. Because you know, there's some fake people out there tell you something ain't true.
Nah, it's all good. But on top of that though, like, what do you think was the hardest scene for you when you had to go up there?
Oh man, I think the hardest scene at first. So
I already know where she's going.
In the beginning, my director let me and my castmate who portrayed my boyfriend in the play, let me and him know that there is a kissing scene. Mm-hmm. Now, we didn't really understand what he was saying because he was also new to acting. So he had never acted a day in his life. So he was new to acting. And honestly, I could say I was kind of new too, because this was my first kind of big stage break. And so I was like, wait, the moment I'm back, I have to kiss somebody. And not only that, I'm in a relationship, and so is he.
And I'm going to be at every show.
And Andrew was, you know, other than the times that you were sick.
Yeah. But I was at every show that I was able to attend.
Yeah. And it was hard, because I knew Andrew was going to be there. I'm going to be totally real. If Andrew wasn't going to be there, I felt like it wouldn't have been as hard, because then I don't have to look Andrew in the face, or I don't have to see him in the crowd.
It's funny too, because I would also volunteer in, like, you know, just being like an usher or whatever. And they always had me sit right up front. So every single time that Derry had to do a kissing scene, I was literally like the closest audience member towards them.
I can't lie. That was something else.
Yeah, but I think it helped you kind of break out of that discomfort, because I feel like once you got through the first few kissing scenes, it was kind of like, okay, like I can do this, and I made sure that on my end, I let Derry know, like, hey, like, this is business. Like, this isn't something that I'm taking personally, because you're playing a character who is kissing another character. You're not your own personal, selves trying to do something weird on stage. Like, no.
Yeah.
You two are just doing what the script says, and I think it's easier for me as a boy to kind of feel that. I don't know what it would be like if I was a girl and you're a guy doing that, but it's like, I think as a man I was able to realize, like, if it means something that you are going to do your dream, and if you ever were to be in a movie where you had a kissing scene, then I would have to be okay with it. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's business.
Yeah. I mean, it's business. And one thing that I'm very grateful of was how my castmate handled the kissing scene, us getting to know each other, right? We didn't just wake up one day, go to rehearsal, and then just kiss, right? Like, we built a bond. We got to know each other in obviously a platonic way. And so even to this day, we're friends, we're good friends. And so that was one of the hardest. But I will say, aside from the kiss, honestly, cultivating being totally different from myself. Like, I wanted people to go up there and see Jasmine and not see a lick of Derry. And as hard as it may sound, I did get those results, and I'm proud of myself, because people would come up to me after the play and be like, oh my gosh, like, I had to understand that wasn't you, that was a different person. And hearing those comments just it melted my heart all the way.
Yeah, that was something special to see. Like, I'm actually just like so proud that you were able to, come out of your comfort and just like do what you were doing on stage. Like, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen her do, just because I've never seen her act before. She stopped like right before I met her.
Yeah.
And once I kind of figured out she used to act, I was like, man, you gotta get back out there. Like, you have such a confidence and swagger to yourself. I know that sounds kind of like corny, but it's true. Like, she has the confidence and personality to kind of take on any character that she's needing to play. So I think that you did a great job, and I think your castmates will definitely back me up on that.
Thank you, babe. I appreciate you so much. Now that I know I can make people laugh, I need to work on my crying.
Yeah. Well, luckily you didn't really have too many crying scenes. I think you just had like one, but even then it was like you didn't have to cry.
No, and I can't. I'm gonna stop it here because we've been talking for a while. But that's a scene I cultivated.
Yeah.
But So.
But anyways, now that we've talked about the play, there is something that is kind of a monumentous achievement in our lives. For those that don't know, we are a couple. Hence why we used to be called A Couple Sims Podcast. But Derry, do you want to tell the audience what we did after the play?
Yeah, I mean, it was, first of all, we want to give an honor to God for just putting us together and allowing us to be as great as a couple as we are. We're not perfect, but we are progressing. Something happened the last show, which was on Easter, April 9th. I experienced just a whole lot of joy that day. Not only was all my family there for my last show, well, most of them, but all my good family there for my last show. And Andrew decided to propose.
Whoa.
On the last show.
Man, look at that rock. I mean, it's like a bunch of little rocks together, but still, look at that shot.
Yeah. So he decided to propose, and of course I said yes.
I mean, I don't know. Would you have said no and kept the ring?
I would have kept the ring.
Okay.
Yeah, if I'm gonna say no, I'm saying no to it all.
Yeah. But anyways, y'all, we just wanted to bring that up just because we thought it'd be great to introduce that into our life update episode. So what we're going to talk about is just how it happened, what transpired, and kind of what we went through after it happened. So I guess I'll take it away since I was the one who planned all of it.
Right, since you proposed.
Yeah, so basically, I got the idea when God just presented it to me in my head. I was like trying to think of ideas, what to do. I had a lot of lame ideas, and God just was like, hey, why don't you just propose to her on stage on the last show. And I'm like, okay, how am I going to do that? So when it got close to it, I asked her producer or her director, hey, is this possible? And if so, how can we kind of incorporate it so that she just doesn't know? And the director, shout out to Michelle and Isaiah, they were able to put it in a way so where I surprised her at the end. So basically at the end of every show, they have a Q&A.
Yes.
So they're asking or they're answering questions the whole entire time.
Yes, the audience.
On the last show, I actually was able to be the last question, right? So basically, this is how it went down. I waited until, the very end, and Michelle was like, we actually have one more question. And that was when I came through the curtains, and I was starting to speak. I was stuttering because I was so nervous. Like, you don't understand. My heart was jumping out of my chest.
Yeah.
And Derry kind of looked at me kind of weird at first. She was like, what is happening? What are you doing?
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing right now?
And I got closer to her because she was like in the middle of the stage because her director moved her there. And I started talking and I was like, can you please step forward? I did my whole little speech, my little soliloquy, and I was able to get on one knee. The whole entire place just erupted.
The lights were going up and like off and on. The music started blasting. People was like, oh.
And it honestly kind of pissed me off that time because
why?
Because I didn't even say it yet. I didn't even say the words, Dariana, will you marry me? I was just kind of like on my knee for a little bit, but I wanted to be like, because they mic'd me up, right? I want to be like, shut up, everybody. But no, I was too much in the moment. I was just kind of waiting for it to settle down. And then that's when I asked her the question, and emotions were flying. We had our friends there. Our friends were able to hold up a sign for me that said "Marry Me." It was lighting up and everything.
Yeah.
But it was just a very spectacular event, and man, like the relief I had after that moment was just like I transferred all my nervous energy to you. Now you're all like, oh my gosh, we gotta get things together.
Oh man, like what he was nervous, but I was nervous. So so Andrew was discussing or talking about the Q&A, right? And so after each show, the audience asks the cast any questions that they have about the play, about our roles, and I normally sit like at the end,
towards off to the side.
Yeah, towards off to the side a little bit. And so my director, when he moved me, he was like, hey, can you come in the middle of the stage? We're going to take a photo. Now, most people would think, okay, that's when I knew. I did not know, because that whole day, you guys, I was taking photos because it's the last show.
Yeah.
So when he said, oh, come over here, we're going to take a photo, I was like, okay, that makes sense. I literally put on my chapstick. I put on my chapstick because I'm like, okay, we're going to take a photo. My lips ain't finna be crusty, dusty, musty.
Okay. Well, mine aren't either, so.
And so he moved me to the middle of the stage, and my co-director Michelle was like, hey, we have one more question. Andrew comes out. I still don't know, you guys. I still don't know, because I don't know if he's just like making a big appreciation speech for all the things that are, me accomplishing acting and being on stage again. I don't know what's happening.
That's what I wanted you to think, was just like giving you a big oh, you did it.
Yeah, I did it. What the moment I knew was when my friends and family came out with their phones.
Yeah.
That's when I knew. I was like, okay, first of all, they're not just going to videotape you saying an appreciation speech. And I was like, okay, I'm about to pee on myself.
Man, you don't understand like the amount of hoops that I had to go through to even make that happen, because there was, scheduling conflicts, like, because I was trying to make sure all your family was there,
right?
Or at least the ones that had the time to be there, because it was Easter, so I didn't expect everybody to show up.
It was Easter,
but I knew I wanted it on that day because I knew it was going to be special. And it'd be hard to forget, we proposed on Easter. But yeah, no, it not only were there scheduling conflicts, but there was just a lot of like disagreements on the day. A lot of people were trying to make me move the day, and it was just like, nah, like God really wants me to make this happen on this day for a reason. And so I just stuck with it. And I was able to, coordinate with all of her family and all of her friends that were going to be there. And it just ended up working out for the best, just because man, like I don't think there would have been any other way that proposal could have been special, like more special than it was, so I felt like that was definitely the way to go.
Yeah, I agree. I just, from beginning to end, I loved it. That day was so special, and it will always be special to me. Not only was that my last show for my first theater production play, that's when my whole life changed forever. And then that's when our Lord and Savior conquered death. It's just a whole lot.
And it was funny too, because and you mentioned this earlier in the show, Derry, but like I was sick the whole week before that. So in my head, I'm just like stressing out because I'm like, am I even going to be ready for this?
And my mom was sick.
Yeah. I'm like, are we going to be good to go on Sunday? And we're like, no, I'm staying home all week. I'm not going to work. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just going to drink my water, rest, and make sure I'm 100% for that day. Right. And I'm like, there's nothing that's going to stop me from doing this. I don't care.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah. Find you a guy, or in other cases a woman that's gonna do it for you.
That grit, that drive. Yeah. No. The day was just filled with love and joy, and and not only did Andrew do it in front of my family and friends, he did it with a sold out crowd. Yeah. So that day, our show was sold out. So mind you, we have about, in the stands, we have about maybe like 100 to 110-ish chairs. He did that in front of 100 people. And
there was more than that, because we had to set up more chairs like on the ground and stuff.
Yeah. So he did that in front of a sold out show, in front of a bunch of people I don't know, of course, but still, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was definitely something you just had to be there for. You just had to be there.
You just had to be there. But we'll definitely leave a link down below. We have a video of how it went down. Actually, her production, Acts on Stage, did a video for us. So just check that out below if you want to see it. But that was definitely the highlight of our life updates so far.
Yeah, we were MIA, number one, you guys, because of my play.
Yep.
And then number two, our work schedules were so hectic, and
planning the wedding
is, we just got into it and it's already stressful.
But we knew we couldn't leave you hanging. We knew that we had to get back to the grind. Now that we have kind of a new schedule we're working with, we know that we can, continue to stay consistent, and we're working on a whole bunch of stuff to elevate our podcast for your viewership. Just stay tuned. Within this next week should be all the podcast outlets,
if
you'll say,
platforms.
So stay tuned for that. We'll leave all the links down below. So I think that's about it for the life update.
Yeah, that's about it. And our engagement photos will be coming soon.
Yes.
It's been a process.
Anyways, guys, I appreciate you all. We appreciate you all for tuning in. If you got through this far, if you listened to the whole episode, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't even stop there. Share the video. Let people know who we are if you like our content. And also, look us up on Instagram, Set Apart Podcast _. And Derry, do you want to do your handles?
Yes. So my Instagram is going to be Derry_Productions, and my Snapchat is going to be little_Derry27.
There we go. And then mine for Instagram is going to be DrewMartin51, and on Snapchat is going to be AndrewMartin380. Now, with that being said, guys, we appreciate you once again. Stay tuned, keep it up, and stay set apart. Peace.